Hey, hello investors and future investors. Welcome to the channel. For today's video, I'm going to show you 3 LEAPS options that can be bought right now in order to grow your portfolio exponentially over the next year. Now, with this LEAPS option, I'm going to show you how to manage the trade and how to use them in order to get consistent income while you wait for these LEAPS options to give you those maximum gains. If this sounds like something that you're interested in, then welcome to Investment Gains. Let's jump right into it. Welcome back, investors and future investors. My name is Tim. Now, on this channel, I show you how I use my portfolio in order to make consistent income. In today's video, I'm going to show you 3 LEAPS options that you could buy right now in order to grow your portfolio consistently over the next year. Now, before we get into anything, I want you guys to do yourself 2 favors. Favor number 1, always remember to do your own due diligence before investing. And favor number 2, always make sure you have an exit strategy before entering any option contract. That being said, let's go ahead and get down and dirty with options. So our first stock for today, which I would highly advise anyone pick up a LEAPS option on, is going to be none other than the SPIDER ETF, ticker SPY. Okay, so here we are on the SPIDER ETF, and now we're going to go ahead. I'm going to show you how to pick up a LEAPS option on the SPIDER ETF. And for that, we're going to go ahead down to the bottom and we're going to hit the Trade SPY options right down in the bottom in order for us to open up the option chain. Now that we have the option chain open, we're going to make sure it says buy and it says call. For those of you guys that are new to the channel and you're not familiar with my content, I am most known as an income option trader. That means I sell options in order to generate consistent income. So by buying these LEAPS options, I do intend on using them to make income. So buy, call, and now we're going to go ahead and choose our expiration date. In order for it to be a LEAPS option, it must have an expiration date of 365 days or greater, or pretty much a year out. So we're going to be going with March 20th, 2026, and that gives us 369 days to expiration. Let's go ahead and choose that one. Now, in order to maximize the effectiveness of this option strategy, it is highly advisable that you choose your strike price below the current share price, or how we say, in the money. So in the money is going to be any strike price below the share price right here. As you can see to the left, this column here is strike price. So now let's go ahead and choose our strike price. The strike price I will be choosing today is going to be the 550 strike price right here. And then that's going to give me a 0.67 delta. Delta is going to be to the top here. Now, I'm going to come back to delta in just a couple seconds. Now, since we're buying a option, we're going to have to pay. The amount we're going to be paid is $58.51 per contract. Now, $58.51 per contract in the real life is going to work out to be $5,851. Now, the reason for this is because each option contract contains 100 shares. So if you were to multiply the 58.51 here by 100 shares, you will get $5,851. Let's go ahead and let's click into that. And as you can see to the top here, a long call. Now the delta here is 0.67. The delta right here tells you that any price movement in the share price here of $1 in any direction, either up or down, would cause the same movement in your delta of 0.67. So let me break it down and make it as easy to understand as possible. If the share price moved from 562 and it goes up by $1 now to 563, then your entire option is going to move up by 0.67 and vice versa. If the share price goes down by 1 and it's now 561, then this overall option right here is going to move down by 0.67. That's one way the delta is very important. Now, the other way I mentioned is that the delta actually mimics the amount of shares that you actually own. So by buying a 0.67 delta, it mimics you owning 67 shares of the stock. Now, when buying your LEAPS option, it is highly advisable for you to go and get a LEAPS option with a delta that mimics the amount of shares that you would prefer to own. So for most option traders, this is usually from 0.7 delta or higher. But for this case, this is the SPIDER ETF, so we have to get what we could afford. Always remember that. So let's continue. So 550 strike price, 67 delta, and we're gonna have to pay 58.51, and that's it. That's our LEAPS option right there on the SPIDER ETF. Now the second LEAPS option I would be picking up right now is none other than NVIDIA, ticker NVDA. Okay, so here we are on NVIDIA, and let's go ahead once again and open up the NVIDIA option chain. Once again, we're going to go to buy and call, and now we're going to choose our strike date. Our strike date, once again, is going to have to be 365 days or more. So that's going to give us, once again, the March 20th, 2026, 369 days once again. And we're going to go ahead now and choose our strike price. And once again, we need to choose our strike price in the money. So I'm going to be going with the $100 strike price, and that now gives me a delta of 0.76, and now I have to pay $3,800, which is $38 per contract. Let's go ahead and select that. Now, let me give you a bit more information. Let's go ahead and open up the option chain just a bit further, and that's going to give us what's known as the option Greeks. So the option Greeks are going to be this part right here. So I just explained the delta to you on the first one, which is the SPDR ETF. For this one, I'm going to explain the implied volatility. Now, the implied volatility tells you the actual riskiness of the stock. Implied volatility is very important as well, because based on the riskiness of the stock, you're able to make a better decision of which stocks you actually want to get into. So as a measure of reference, any implied volatility from 1% to 50% is very low and it's extremely safe. As an option trader, that's not really where you want to be. Now, the second level of implied volatility is going to be volatility between 50% to 100%, and that represents medium risk. And as an option trader, one like me that sells option, that is the perfect implied volatility for me. Now, the last level of volatility is going to be 100% and above. That is very risky, or it's actually going into risky territory. Now, although it's in risky territory, those high volatilities comes with different kind of stocks, which is going to be quantum stocks or AI stocks, etc. So that is very important. Always keep an eye on your implied volatility. Now let's go ahead and we get into the last LEAPS option that you can buy right now, and that's going to be none other than Sweet Green, ticker SG. Okay, so here we are on Sweet Green or SG, and this one is going to be a bit different, and I'll tell you why as we go along. Once again, in order for you to pick up a LEAPS option, make sure you go to buy, make sure you go to sell, and then now we're going to choose our strike date. So this one is a bit different because it only offers monthly expiration dates, so we're not going to get that perfect 365 days up close. So we're going to be going to January 16th, 2026, which gives us 306 days to expire. That's fine for now. We're going to go again, once again, choose our strike price below the share price. And well, what do you know? I do have one right here at a $20 strike price. If I were to pick this up right now, I'd probably go ahead and pick it up at the $17 strike price, which is right here. And that's going to give me a 0.8 delta. And I'm going to only be paying $10.40, which is going to be work out to be $1,040. Let's go ahead and click into that. Now let's open up the secondary option chain, which is known as the Greeks, and I'm going to give you a bit more information. So as you can see, this stock only offers monthly options. So that right there tells you that this stock is not very volatile. Now, if you go down here to the open interest, it says here the open interest is 70 or 70. Now, how does the open interest help you to decide what option you want to choose in order to pick up your LEAPS option? Well, the open interest actually tells you how many people that think this strike price here is good in order to pick up a LEAPS option. And right now, that's going to be 70. So 70 people have this actual contract at the $17 strike price. Now, if you look at the volume right above it, the volume says 0. So what does the volume tell you is that in the 70 people that picked up that strike price for the LEAPS at $17 call, none of them has actually closed out the LEAPS option. So that tells you this stock is simply and extremely safe. Now that you have LEAPS in your option portfolio, what are you going to go ahead and do with it? Well, the number one thing you could do with it is go ahead and do nothing. The whole point of picking up a LEAPS option is that you of the mindset that the stock is actually going to go up. The LEAPS option strategy is a bullish option strategy. So once the stock goes up, then you're now able to manage the trade. So when the stock goes up significantly and you think that you've already benefited and received enough premium, you could go ahead now and close out the LEAPS option. So to do that, you simply do the reverse of what you did to get into the contract in the first place. So you did buy a call, so then you go ahead and you sell your position. And that should help you to close the option contract and lock in your gains. Now, the other thing you could do with your LEAPS option Remember, the primary thing you want to do is do nothing, because the whole purpose of having a LEAPS option is for you to gain from stock appreciation, or what I call on the channel investment gains. So here's the other thing you can do with it. You can use it in order to make consistent incomes. So let's go ahead. Now we're going to switch over to sell, and we're going to go to call, and now we're going to choose our execution date. This time we're going to choose it a bit closer. Let's go to the April 17th, since this one does monthlies. So that's like 32 days. And then now we're going to go ahead and choose our strike price. This time we're going to choose our strike price out of the money. And out of the money means for this option strategy, it's going to be anything above the current share price. So we're going to be going with the $27 strike price. And we have a chance of profitability of 80%, meaning we have a 20% chance that this trade goes against us. Now, this option strategy, like I tell you, I always pick up LEAPS option in order to make some kind of money with it. So for this option strategy, because we're going to be selling, we're going to be receiving money. The amount of money we're going to be receiving is going to be $95. Now, remember, we did pay $1,000 for the LEAPS option, and now we're going to be receiving around $95, give or take, every month. That represents about a 1% every single month. Now, 1% is not much, but 1% on a safe stock and you're getting consistent income is very, very good. Now, the last thing you could do with a LEAPS option is to roll it out. In order for you to roll out your LEAPS option, it simply means that you're going to close out your current position while simultaneously opening a new position. That's all it means. So there you have it. The 3 LEAPS options that I will be buying right now is going to be SPY, the Spider ETF, SG, Sweet Green, and NVIDIA, ticker NVDA. If you guys have any questions about picking up LEAPS options, how to manage them, or how to choose the strike prices, go ahead and check out the videos I have on the channel that cater specifically to those option strategies. Or even better yet, you could go ahead and leave me a comment below. Now, until the next video, keep picking up those LEAPS options.